All right, welcome back. How's it going, Jen?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Just getting set up here. Feel a little behind, even though, I don't know. You get that feeling from time to time. Anyway, so today's episode, Jen doesn't even know what's happening.
I just like
I'm
to show
going
up.
to I'm going to ask Jen a question, and then I'll give her a few minutes to respond. Even if she needs to think about it for a
Oh
second,
boy.
we can pause or we can edit that part out. And then I'll give you my answer, and I think it'll help people because I think it'll be coming from two completely different. I have no clue what Jen's going to say, and I think it'll be two completely different aspects. I would be shocked if it's the same
Okay.
answer. Also, obviously, because I've had the question in my head, I have my answer already
Right.
prepared.
Gotcha.
So it's just the nature of it. We don't have a third person on the show that can give us questions that would like throw us off, but I'm also not trying to throw Jen off. Like I want her to give the best answer possible because again, I think it's going to help
That should be interesting.
people out there. Before we get there, it's time for our opening takes. So
I'm ready.
Okay, go ahead.
So I have a story that will come together and I think just get people thinking. So I had run, I want to be a little bit vague here just because if you know where we live, then you'd know who I was talking about. So I had run to grab some food for us over the weekend, whatever. And there's a salon that just opened. And it was the oddest thing. I just happened to hear this conversation. So the owner of the salon, and don't ask me how I know that, I just know that. One of the owners, it's two people that own
You
it.
were outside of a salon,
Yeah,
and a conversation
parked there.
just happened to break out.
Yeah, it's where I parked to go to get some of the food that I was getting for our dinner that night.
Okay.
It was but I just like, I always like kind of look at it because they've just been revamping it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I know a little backstory. Anyway, so the owner walks out with her, I soon to find out, her grandmother. And her grandmother said something like, "Do your clients ever complain about your outfit?" And she was like, "Nana, no one ever complains about my outfit. Like, this is what people wear." And first, I can tell you she looked very unprofessional. And second, definitely didn't look like she'd be owning a salon, like didn't level up anything. And there was this moment. So now I'm just listening because I'm loving this Nana. And the Nana's like, "Are you sure that people don't complain about what you're wearing? Because I don't think that it should be like you should be dressing up." And she's like, "Nana, people like what I wear." And so I had this moment because I think I've had to, through both of my salons, talk to people about dress codes or what you're wearing, or ask them like, "Hey, let's look in the mirror. What do you think?" And like, "Oh, maybe I should have made a different choice today." But I think what the Nana to me was getting at is maybe no one's ever complained to her face that they didn't like her outfit because nobody would. That would be rude, right? But at the same point, if you're not getting compliments on what you wear, or people aren't like, "Oh, I look forward to seeing like what kind of outfits do you have on today," maybe you should reevaluate the way you represent the brand of who you want to be in any career. And it just hit me in a way that I was like, yeah, no one's going to complain to you, but maybe you should take some of Nana's constructive criticism rather than basically tell her she's wrong, because she may have a point and some insight into the world that you just haven't been in yet. So anyway, go Nana. I loved her.
Cool. I think the dress code thing for me is, I don't know, it's too much, it's too subjective. Like what looks professional to you and what looks professional to someone else might be completely two different things, you know?
Mhm.
Like for you to be like, I dress professional, yeah, maybe in your setting, but if you talk to like a lawyer, how would that look?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like it's just different.
Yeah,
So
that's why I said it just depends on who's listening and where you're coming from.
yeah, I think it's the vibe too for the business. Like I wouldn't expect a place that people weren't dressed up to meet me at the level that I would probably want to be at
Mhm.
in regard to getting services there. But I would know that. I would expect that. So
Mhm. And
you know what I mean?
we've had
Like, it's
conversations with our staff that are like on the verge of promotion and certain things, and I'm like, so when we jump to this promotion, when a client walks in, the expectation has now changed. That price point puts a different
spin on things.
Yeah, totally. So
that's
where
exactly what I'm getting.
Yeah, so where
Yeah.
you are currently with the way you dress, like at the price point you're at, I would expect that. Totally cool. But as it goes up, there are different things now that you're going to have to level up. And you might not like that you're judged by the way you look or where you wear, but that's just life. And if you're in the hair industry, you're absolutely judged on first your hair. People are looking at that all the time, but they're looking at you to be some fashion forward with what you're wearing and things like that. I have clients all the time that are like, I can't wait to see what you're in. And you always dress so great. And that makes me feel good too. I put effort into how I look every day.
Cool. So, yeah, you'd be attracting a different clientele too. The more you charge, you
Yes,
know, the
absolutely.
more
The
disposable
whole
income your
package.
clients need. And then, yeah, everything goes up. And we tell people all the time that, like our staff, the number one priority at Hello is the client. That's from our staff. For Jen and I, we take care of the stylists, the hair pros,
Right.
the barbers. And we attract people that respect. Now, everyone's not the same, right? But we have a lot of clients that they value time. So they're paying a higher price point, but they understand what they're getting and they feel like there's value there. And it's the whole package.
Right.
It's the hair pro that's professional. It's the hair pro that's doing an actual consultation and yeah, wearing the clothes and playing the part, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. I get it. My opening take is a just a challenge or a question for people to think about, and it's super simple. And it's, what do you want? What do you really want? What do you want out of your career? What do you want out of your business, depending on where you're at? If you're a renter, what do you want out of that career? Was it just to get there, just to say you're a boss babe or whatever you say? Like, what do you really want? If you're a commission stylist, what do you really want? Everyone can say build a clientele, but think about it a little bit deeper.
Love it.
What do you really want out of your career? And then I think that'll help you. If you can answer that question, I think it'll help you guide. It'll give you your play-by-play template
Mm-hmm.
of what you need to
A vision into the
do. And
future.
and if you can't figure that out, reach out to us. We'll help you.
Absolutely.
All right, let's jump
Oh boy.
into the
Just,
main
just so
topic
you all
here.
know, I'm locked and loaded here with the coffee, hot black. That's how I like it. My water and my shake, and I'm glad I have all three because I have no idea what's coming at me.
All right, so say you had somebody approach you or you're helping somebody and they have a business. We'll assume it's a hair salon because that's the business we're in. They don't know where to start or they don't know how to focus. They don't know what they should really be building. So before they get trapped in, the online world of how should you do your pricing and this stuff, what advice would you give them for growing and building their business?
Now I go.
Yep, you can take as long as you want.
Oh no, I'll just free flow.
Actually, we have a call in a half an hour, so you need to be less time
It's
than
okay.
that.
So I would offer all kinds of advice, I guess. Start with, first of all, like, why do you want to open this business? I want to understand to them their vision. I want to listen to everything that's going on in their head. Like, throw up on me all of the things that got you to this point of like, I want to open a business. Because I can give them all the advice of like why I would, but that might not be the advice they need. So kind of understanding where they're coming from, that would also help me arrive at, are they even ready? And sort of, how much energy do they really want to put into this business? Because running a business is not easy and you best be ready to work a lot. So then I'd go into kind of what we did. We went through a bunch of strategies on mission, core values, like, where do you see your business going? Where do you want it to be in the future for your vision? What do you stand for in your business? What kind of things will help you make your decisions in your business so that you're always making decisions from a place that's healthy and that supports the business that you're always running, right? That's what we do too. Then from there, help them build their team. You're going to need an accountant. You're going to need a lawyer. You're going to need someone to help you find your space. What does that all look like for you? And then go from there, I guess. It's a nice, short, and simple answer.
I like it. And it's completely different than mine. So obviously, if you've listened to this podcast, read our newsletters, anything, you know that we always start with the foundations. Like, why are you doing this? And how did you get here? And what are your goals? So I wanted to take it a step further from that. And my advice would be to, instead of focusing on building a salon, because what you're going to do is you're going to copy what everyone did to build a salon, I would focus on building a media company through your salon. And this is something that can be incredibly powerful because you do a couple of things. And first, somebody's probably like, what's a media company? What do you mean by that? So what I would do is I would have ways to publish a lot of content. And I'm not talking about Instagram random posts, because ask everyone that does that. It doesn't really help you. I'm not saying don't do that because it's fun or whatever, but this question is geared towards more of a serious, how would you build a business? So a media company is going to be a company that produces content across different platforms. So you're going to need something that you own. So a podcast, such as the one we do, we own this podcast. We own the audience. We own what gets said, and we can reach our audience at any time. We publish every Monday. We could publish every day if we wanted to, and we would reach those people. So if we had a message to send out, it's very easy for us to get that in front of somebody without having to worry about hacking some fucking algorithm. I could just publish it, and the people that want to see it, see it. I would build an email list, incredibly powerful tool. You own that email list. You don't own followers on Instagram. You don't own anything you publish to Facebook, unless, of course, you're publishing it somewhere else. Because if those websites, or those platforms rather, go away, you've got nothing. So I would start with those two. I would start with building your email list, and I would start with a longer format, something like a podcast. You could do a blog, which is, I would highly recommend doing all of these, but I would probably start with two and build from there. And so what do these things do for you? So I'm a multimedia company. Cool. What does that mean? Well, it means that you have more visibility because you're spreading out wider, which is better. You're going to attract more people because you're going to just simply reach more people. It's a numbers thing. Mm-hmm. You're going to build trust and credibility. So people aren't just looking for somebody to post dimension and a photo. They're looking for somebody that's establishing themselves as an expert in a field. That's what you want. When you go on and you read reviews and stuff of businesses, what are you looking for? If you're looking for dinner, are you just looking for pictures of egg rolls, or are you looking for experiences that people had? Some people might be looking for pictures of egg rolls with a hashtag crunchy or something, right?
Haha.
What?
That was funny.
True. And you get to do that stuff at scale. So you're building trust at scale because you've spread out wider. One of the benefits you're going to get, another benefit, is content becomes your recruitment tool. So I constantly see people that are like, how do you hire people? How do you find this? How do you find this? Well, we don't. At Hello, what we've done is we've just used our platforms to talk about our culture, to talk about the things that we're doing at the salon, to talk about the positions that we put our staff in, talk about the opportunities that we push them to take. And it attracts people. We get we get hiring questions every single week. Every single week I get at least one email or message saying, are you hiring? The next thing it would do for you is it would diversify your revenue streams. So we've added education this year, our own education at Hello. Why? Because it's something that we've wanted to do for a long time. We feel like we have something to say, and we feel like we have a way to say it. And that's cool. So that's what we're building out. For you, it might be a subscription model. You can do it with podcasts. You can have a Patreon. You can do all sorts of different things when you start looking into it. Your content that you create is going to build your community into like your actual freaking tribe, your fans, your people that want to hear from you, not just random people that follow you just to follow you. I feel like on social media, we have a lot of these followers that are like, they're not even people that live around us. They're never going to come to our place. They're never going to comment on anything. It's just, they're just sort of there. That doesn't really help. What you want is the people you can connect with. What you want is when you go out to, your kid's basketball game, that another business owner is like, hey, please keep your newsletter going. It really helps me. Stuff like that, stuff that you hear back from people. That's the stuff that you're after, because that's going to build your business, because you're building in that authority. You're building your own content.
You're creating a brand, really, right?
Yeah, well, that's on here too. Yeah. You're going to attract better clients, which means you don't have to sell these clients. So that means you don't have to go, hey, what are good gift card deals, or what are good percents to offer off to build new stylists? Like, you don't have to do that stuff, because you're building trust within your community, within your audience. And now they trust you. So if you say, come on in, we'll take care of you, you can sit with Gianna or Lauren or whoever, they're going to trust that you have their best interest at heart because they've been following your content. And that's what you've been telling them, hopefully. Your message might look different. And then one of the other things you're going to do is you're going to future proof your business because you can pivot, you can move. Say one thing slows down. Say you're doing education. For example, we just started summer. We're coming up into summer. We're not going to run classes for summer. It just doesn't really work. We don't want it. We don't want it to work. That's our summer break. In the fall, we'll get back to education. So what can we do? We can double down on some other stuff to keep things going. So I would start with thinking about that, and then where you would go from there is you would figure out your goals, right? So I have some example goals just to help you guys think about stuff. So one of your goals could be all of these things. It could be a couple or one. Attract X new clients a month. So say it's 15, who knows? That could be a goal. And now when you start to think about these, you think about how you would publish content that would make sense to those people.
Mm-hmm.
What if you wanted to hire a top tier stylist? You're looking for somebody to come in you don't have to train, that's kick ass, and you want to work next to somebody like that. Well, give yourself 60 days, put together a plan, and then get to work. How about sell X amount of retail products a month through your content? Yes, you can do that. How about grow your email list to, say, 500 people? Or how about just build a recognizable brand? Something that people know, something that people recognize. I don't know. You could go on and on and on, but that's the advice that I would give. And those are the first few steps that I would take.
Well thought out, unlike myself.
Yeah, well, I had time to make lists and stuff. So
I think it's great because it's a different approach. I think a lot of people, like you said, when you're starting up, I don't know other businesses but
it's really not a different approach. It's just that a lot of people in the hair industry haven't done it. So if you look at other industries, they do this really well. If you look at, let's take a big example. Let's take Red Bull. Look at Red Bull's marketing. Look at Red Bull's content. If you go on Red Bull, they don't publish a single picture of a can of Red Bull in any of their content. It's fucking, excuse my language, it's freaking airplanes and people jumping out and parachuting. It's people jumping over buildings and cars and doing crazy stuff, right? That's their marketing. That's the community that they're tapped into.
Well, because their tagline is Red Bull gives you wings. So they're literally, they're using that to fuel their marketing.
Exactly. A lot of other companies do it too. Like, well, whatever, any big company. But what they do is they connect with their audience and they inspire some sort of emotion. And then they do that consistently. And then they establish themselves as the experts. Like if you needed help with like a home project, you're probably going to go to like Home Depot because that's the commercial. That's the jingle that you remember. That's the thing that they've decided that was going to be their brand. And so we do it at our salon. And I know I'm guessing there's other salons that have podcasts and stuff or YouTube channels or whatever, and they put out content. But I think more people should be doing it and less of the entry level sort of, I have no clue what I'm doing marketing approaches because they don't work. I saw one this morning that was like, something about deals. Like what deals do you do to get clients in the door? Well, every time you do that, all you're doing is artificially inflating your numbers and you'll feel good that week. But then the next month when the people all go to the next deal down the road, you've got nothing again. So you're like a hamster spinning your wheels. Instead of, what I'm arguing is that you should be building your own content and distributing that and establishing yourself for the long term so that you don't have to constantly do this. Because once you get a book of content, like we could talk about stuff we've talked about. This is episode almost 200. So we have 200 episodes to draw upon of stuff we've already talked about. We don't have to keep recreating the wheel. Right. We can just keep putting new spins on stuff and reusing our marketing. And it works because it works. And then maybe 20% of the time you're creating new stuff or coming up with new ideas. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's all that different or new.
I think
Maybe just
people
in the industry.
opening a business look at to what you're saying is like, what should I be charging? What should my logo be? Like it's a low level way of looking at the business rather than the bigger picture of like where you want it to be in creating a brand, right? What product should I carry? Like these are just where they tend to focus. And I think the focus at that is too low level. If you think higher, you think bigger, you think creating a brand, like you said, you think start marketing and getting that out there, then as you do all those other things, you've already got support. You're, like you said, you're growing more wide. And it also it helps the business so well. If you are only just trying to hire people all the time and spinning your wheel like a hamster, like it's exhausting. And if the bigger you can build that, the stronger your foundation is with anything, the business is supported. And as maybe a staff member leaves or a few leave, it's not so devastating because you have other things coming in to help that business stay strong.
Agreed. Yeah. Love it. Anything else, Jen? I think we can wrap up this one early.
Yeah, I love it. No, I think that was great. Lots of things to think about, which is what we're here for.
Yeah. I'll probably follow up in the email this week and maybe give some more thoughts or maybe a little template or something to help people even more. There we go. So if you're not on the email list, get in there. You can find the link pretty much anywhere on Instagram, on the show notes from the podcast, whatever. Email me, whatever. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye.